Hollywood, and countless admirers around the globe are sharing a profound moment of collective mourning. The world has bid farewell to Diane Keaton, a woman who turned vulnerability into brilliance and gave solitude a voice that echoed far and wide. Her passing at 79 isn't merely the end of a chapter. It leaves a quiet, enduring ache at the heart of cinema. As if time itself stopped briefly to honor her, her loved ones will celebrate her life in a private ceremony in California. There will be no red carpets, no cameras, just stillness, love, and remembrance. Tributes have flowed in from every corner of the world, each reflecting the depth of her impact. Among the many voices, one stands apart: Goldie Hawn, Diane's longtime friend, co-star, and confidant. The two shared laughter in their youth, and now they share the sorrow of parting. Goldie's emotional farewell resonated with millions, weaving together a tapestry of collective grief. Before we go further, please take a moment to like this video and share your own message below. It's a simple but meaningful way to honor a woman who offered the world her creativity, honesty, and soul. Diane's story didn't begin with thunderous applause. It began in quiet observation. Born on January 5, 1946 in Los Angeles, she grew up beneath Hollywood's glowing skies, a world that celebrated perfection while often concealing real emotion. Her father, Jack Hall, believed love was best shown through discipline and structure. Her mother, Dorothy Diane Keaton Hall, once held the title of Mrs. Los Angeles, 1955, a woman with stage dreams that gradually faded into family life. Outwardly, theirs seemed like a perfect household, but meaningful conversations about feelings were rare. "We didn't talk about feelings," Diane would later say. "Oh, we lived inside them." At 9 years old, Diane stood in a doorway watching her mother's sparkle dim, the sound of applause replaced by dishes clattering in the sink. That moment left an indelible mark. While other girls imagined safe, fenced-in futures, Diane longed for escape, for the stage, for a story, for light that would truly see her. Her breakthrough came on a high school stage, playing Blanche Dubois. She trembled, but those tremors came from truth, not fear. "That was the first time I felt seen," she recalled. For Diane, acting wasn't just a calling, it was a way to exist. In 1966, at just 20, Diane climbed aboard a Greyhound bound for New York City with a single suitcase, 2 scripts, and unshakable resolve. She shed Hall and embraced her mother's maiden name, Keaton, both as homage and rebellion. "Every time they say Miss Keaton, they're saying my mother's name," she once whispered. Life in New York was unforgiving. She lived in a tiny Upper West Side apartment with cracked wallpaper, a rattling radiator, and icy drafts. Her days were spent at auditions, always hearing "too tall," "too unusual," "not the type." Afternoons were consumed by waitressing. Nights were spent singing in smoky basements for pocket change. When the power went out, she wrote by candlelight. When the cold set in, she walked the streets to stay warm. "I stayed because I was afraid," she wrote later. "Fear became my engine." For 2 years, that engine carried her through hunger, rejection, and solitude. Then came 1968, and with it, transformation. A Broadway revival of Hair was searching for someone authentic. Diane stepped on stage barefoot, trembling but alive. "Don't change a thing," the director told her. Under those bright lights, the silence she had carried her whole life finally broke. "I built myself out of fear," she admitted. Fear became her strength. Hunger became fuel. Rejection became her greatest teacher. Her rise began with The Godfather, 1972, as Kay Adams standing beside Al Pacino's Michael Corleone. Diane radiated quiet power and emotional honesty that audiences couldn't forget. Then came Annie Hall, 1977, a role that immortalized her. Her hesitant smile, awkward laugh, and signature turtlenecks weren't just costume choices. They were her essence, unguarded. That night, as she held her Oscar, she believed she had finally arrived. But later, alone in her kitchen, she whispered to herself, "Is this what it feels like to be seen?" Fame shone brightly from a distance, but up close, it cut sharply. Diane worked relentlessly, rewriting scripts late into the night, pushing herself to chase a perfection that always moved just out of reach. "I thought success would make me whole," she admitted later. "Maybe it just gave me permission to be broken in public." In 1981, her performance in Reds demanded everything she had, and she gave it. Critics called her fearless. She felt hollow. By the mid-1980s, after The Little Drummer Girl, 1984, struggled, Diane quietly withdrew, not in defeat, but to preserve what mattered most, her truth. In 1996, at 50, Diane adopted her daughter Dexter. 5 years later, she welcomed her son, Duke. "They saved me," she said. Her home filled with the warmth of daily life, burnt toast, scribbled notes on mirrors, movie nights under blankets. She taught her children that family isn't defined by blood, but by love and the choice to show up. Day after day, that same year, on the set of The First Wives Club, she met Goldie Hawn. Diane was thoughtful and precise. Goldie was vibrant and spontaneous. One cold night, Goldie placed her coat around Diane's shoulders and whispered, "You're always the strong one. Let someone else carry it for a while." Their friendship became a sanctuary. Between takes, they shared secrets, laughed until their sides hurt, and held each other through life's storms. "Diane made me feel safe being human," Goldie said. At the memorial, holding a single white rose, she whispered through tears, "She was the sister I never had." The silence she leaves behind is deafening. In her later years, after wildfires damaged her home, Diane moved to Palm Springs, a haven of light, wind, and stillness. Each morning, barefoot with her camera, she chased small miracles. The shadow of a palm against stucco, dust swirling in a beam of sunlight, a bird's wings slicing through blue sky. Her strength faded, but her creativity burned on. Those unprinted photographs became her final diary, her gentle goodbye. When news broke on October 11, 2025, the world stopped. Tributes poured in from Jane Fonda, Leonardo DiCaprio, Reese Witherspoon, and millions of fans. Outside her Los Angeles home, people laid lilies and lined the gates with her signature wide-brimmed hats. A handwritten note fluttered in the breeze. "You made me brave enough to be myself." Diane Keaton's legacy isn't counted in trophies or accolades. It lives on in everyone who chooses to age boldly, to love without apology, to laugh loudly, and to turn fear into strength. She didn't conquer Hollywood by conforming. She changed it by being utterly, fearlessly herself. She turned age into poetry, silence into song, heartbreak into grace. She once said, "Art is forgiving the world for breaking your heart." And that's exactly what she did. Again and again, as Hollywood dims its lights in her honor, her glow remains soft, warm, unshakable. Perhaps her laughter still drifts on the Palm Springs wind, fierce, fragile, unforgettable. Rest easy. Diane, you showed us that sincerity is beauty, vulnerability is strength, and some lights never fade. They simply learn to shine in a new way.